What is up, everybody? Daily Fantasy Sniper back. I have not done an episode of the DFS Express in a while. Bringing it back, I'm gonna do it intermittently as I can. Uh, some of you may know I had a lot of stuff going on. Life happens. Moved. You can see if you're watching on YouTube. Um, in my office space now. Camera doesn't look so hot, so got to take a look at that. But just want to jump back on, get this podcast started again. Didn't really have any topics in mind. Just wanted to kind of chat with you guys, kind of build it as an Ask Me Anything. Not sure. It was really just spur of the moment. So I don't know how many people are even going to join. If not, I'll just rant about some general DFS thoughts, kind of how I've been approaching things, how I've been playing, um, and talk DraftKings and FanDuel as I usually do. So the next two things I'm playing, really, I've become more of a weekend player, kind of just narrowing down the sports I play. I found I was spreading myself a little thin, so now I play NFL like everybody else. Not one of my higher volume sports. I still play NASCAR, which I've had a lot of success at, and then soccer and MMA are my bread and butter type of sports. So soccer Saturday mornings. There's some midweek stuff, which actually there's a good edge on as well. Um, MMA typically Saturday nights, NASCAR Sunday, NFL Sunday. So I use my midweek. It gives me a little more time to do stuff with work, a little better work-life balance, research the MMA cards a little better. It's just I was playing some MLB and some NBA and just it just I got spread too thin, and what I was good at I wasn't really capitalizing on. Yeah, my good friend Brett Apley in chat, who was we're together running the DFS championships. If you guys aren't in that, check that out. How stoked am I for captain's mode? I'm really excited. Actually, I really am looking forward to captain's mode. It adds a new wrinkle to MMA. There's so many ties. There's different, especially if they keep the salary structure that's on there now. You can build a lot of interesting lineups, and it's just another level to MMA where okay, to win a GPP, you're going to have to know who the highest scorer on the card is, and that actually puts the highest price fighter more in play. They typically are as we're building some of these lineups where there's aren't a ton of dogs we like. You might have to try and find some a little bit harder if this week it's Megan Anderson. But for example, if we were convinced Megan Anderson was going to score the most on this card, I'm putting her in. Whereas now I think she wins, but it's hard to get 60-70% in GPPs because even though we think she's going to win, it's less likely she ends up on the optimal. Just another level. And as DFS MMA continues to grow and evolve, I like that type of evolution, more complexity in the game. Tyler Lee Anderson is about to lose, buddy. Let's be real. Look, they're bringing in this girl, um, Zareen, Farah Zareen dos Santos, to lose. Like, it's just don't let the Vegas line fool you. Um, Look, it's just Anderson should beat her. She just should. Serene is I don't know what people are seeing, but what I saw, she's got a 1-2 and nothing else. So we'll see what happens. Dos Santos is going to be more popular than I think. Okay, I'm still rolling out a healthy amount of Anderson. I have more Ty and Patolo, but I'll have Anderson for sure. Primarily for what we just talked about in captain's mode, like how much can I really fit of her? um, non-Ironman podcasting. Yes, I did just wrap up the RotoWire podcast with Sun Tzu and Chris Olson. And my wife is downstairs baking with her mom, so I figured I'd jump on. Usually, Friday nights I'd spend a little bit of time with the wife, and I'll go do that in a little bit. But had a little bit, so I wanted to jump on it and keep this pod going. I subscribe to my own podcast on iTunes just because I like to make sure everything gets pushed, and I hadn't done one in almost 6 months now, so I couldn't let it get to 6 months. I'll try and do a little more schedule. It's I build it as interviews and industry commentary and some slate breakdowns, but there's a ton of slate breakdown stuff out there. I want to be a little different. So things like this, as I get, I'll schedule them a little more in advance. Will be fun. Um, getting guys on like Sun Tzu and Brett and other people just to. I want to get away from the slate breakdowns. I do want to do them, but just and talk about them as we come up on slates. But I want to make it kind of secondary. I want to do something a little different. What do you think the buys will end up at for UFC 243? Whew. sub 200,000. Thing is, everyone, it's tough because it's streaming. How much does that really take away versus Israel Adesanya is a big sell. People like Robert Whitaker too, but how after that, it's not really an engaging card. I think it's going to do over 200,000. I'm going to put it at 250. Um, Tyler, I missed the DFS Express underdog video. You know, I did those for Brett and Roto Grinders for a little while. Or not for Roto Grinders, sorry. I did it for Brett and his Daily Fantasy MMA channel. Not doing as much content over there. His podcasts are for his premium members now. I do rankings for Brett, where you can kind of see my underdog plays. Um, Again, to get all my plays, DFS Army's the best place, but you can always listen to the free podcast I'm on, and you can get a pretty good idea. But I'll spell things out more in the DFS Army stuff I do, like really explicitly. I do the rankings for Brett. You can, there's stuff out there. I want to focus a little more on this quote unquote podcast, but now that I have this nice office set up here, I can do more. So we can talk underdogs for sure. If I was doing an underdog video this week, just top of my head for you, Tyler, it would be Nadia Kassem. I think Rostam Akhman is really sneaky. I think the Jake Matthews hype train's getting a little bit carried away. I'm really alone on that. That would be that third super GPP pick I threw out there. And one more for you. Who's super live? I gotta scroll over real quick. I know we just did all this. My brain's a little MMA mush. Malarkey's in play. I think Malarkey Riddle, that fight overall, is one of the more intriguing to target both sides of. Um, so, guys in chat, you got anything else like that? Hit me up. So I was talking generally about just narrowing down what you're playing. I've also gone back and forth between do I attack GPPs, do I attack cash games. I'm back to what I was doing, and it evolves as what interests me evolves. For a while, I was in a GPP phase, and the swings were a little sick. I gotta say, I tend to like the slower burn. I like the grind. I like cash lineups and ladders. I think there's still some edge there. The edge is getting harder in MMA. People are getting sharper, but it's the style of game I prefer. I can have a good cash lineup, not hit a huge GPP, and still have a winning night. When you're playing GPPs, you really got to take something down to have a good night. How big of a core is too big for lineup construction? Okay, so this is where I have a very unique, I don't want to say unique opinion, but I think I do have a unique opinion. So I am going to say it. I like a smaller, tighter core in GPPs. I don't like spreading myself too thin, and just because then at the end of the night, one or two lineups are who you're going to have live. I want to pick a few fights I want to hedge on like that. Like this week, there's big heavyweight fights, or Tafa and De Castro. I'll be all in on that fight. How big of a core is too big? The bigger the core, the better, because when your core hits, the more likely you are to take something down. Now, if your core misses, you're going to be in really bad shape. But that's how GPPs are and should be. So for MMA, 3 probably is a good core. If you're confident, go with 4. Hedge a few fights. Depends how many lineups you're building too. The less lineups, the bigger the core. The more lineups, you can spread things out a little bit to cover more variables. I use big cores for GPP PGA. Yeah, I totally agree. This way, when you're right big and you can win. When I do soccer, which not many people like to play soccer, but God, there's a big edge in it, guys. Like that's where I've had a lot of success. There's still an edge in DFS soccer. I typically I take my cash lineup and I just make different. I build between 5 and 10 lineups because you need that hour before in soccer. I don't build 20, 100 lineups like you can in some other sports. I like about 10. I build my cash lineup that has a little bit of upside, a hybrid type of lineup, and I pivot off of it. Okay, I played this guy in my forward spot who is a little safer. Let me pivot up, get someone who's a little more volatile, higher upside, and then make one other change somewhere to accompany it. And that's how I like GPPs. So instead of that big spread, you're covering everything from first to last in a GPP with your 10 lineups, I want to be tighter. And I want to know if I'm winning big. If I'm losing, spreading out, I think is going to, in my opinion, lose you more in GPPs than it's going to help. Um, I missed the throwdown when $8 on fight night, $10 in pay per view. I can't even play anymore, and single entry tournaments are too small. Yeah, DraftKings is going towards that GPP model. They just are. That's where they've seen some success, or at least that's what their metrics are telling them. I think it helps in NFL. Everybody wants to play the lotto stuff. And that's kind of back to why I'm playing cash games. I will say, just general advice, if you can't max out a tournament, you probably shouldn't play it. For example, I think in terms of volume, I'm probably not one of the highest MMA players. I'm definitely not one of the highest MMA players, but I'm not the lowest either. I'm probably in that mid range, a little higher than midpoint, I would guess. I don't play the $15 GPPs. Don't play it. If you can't max it out, not playing it. So if I want to do 150 lineups, I'll max out the mini max. I just You're putting yourself at a disadvantage if you're not maxing out a tournament against guys like Sun Tzu and BD Hala and those guys who are maxing them out. I'm just not interested. I would rather, for less money. I think the $44 usually 10 to 12 entries somewhere in there. I play that if I had $500 to burn. But Millie Maker, same thing in NFL. I don't play the Millie Maker. Don't do it. Can't play it. I play the 20 maxes, a couple high dollar 3 entry maxes if I want. That brings me, by the way, to the qualifiers. Same thing. Bankroll management, guys. I have a set amount I am willing to spend on the qualifier each, on GPPs in each card. So as this qualifier comes out, yes, I'm gonna chase it a little, but actually, what I'm doing is I'm not gonna be in some of those. I'll be in less GPPs. I'll take my GPP dollars and I'm gonna take some shots on the qualifiers. And it can end up costing me money, but the qualifiers are fun. We play DraftKings for fun primarily, yes, to make some money, but it's entertainment value. So, for example, all I'm playing in the qualifier this week, the new MMA one that rolled out, is the $38 2 entry max. I'm playing 2 entries in that, and that's it. That's all I'm playing. I'm not going to chase the 12. It was a decision whether there's a $12 6 entry max. I could have played that and maxed it out, but again, I want to max out, and I don't want to go crazy. I'm still playing the $4 20 entry max. That is my favorite GPP. 3 maxes are scary in MMA. They are. I guess again, that's why I would build a really large core and make little pivots, and just if my core hits, I got a good shot. That's how I would attack him. But again, that's volatile, can blow up in your face if 2 guys in your core miss. That's why I like cash games. You can grind out a little more. I think I get more bang for my buck that way. Um, Going for like almost 15 minutes already. So thanks, guys, for jumping in, especially Non, Tyler. Got a few guys up there. Hit the like, thumbs up, subscribe on YouTube. I'm not done yet. Not wrapping up. Don't go anywhere. Just kind of do my plug. Subscribe on iTunes if you don't already. It is the DFS Express, name of the podcast. Thanks to everyone who likes this video, comments, subscribes, all that stuff. Tyler Lee is heading out. Take care, bud. See you later. Thanks for stepping in as always. Do one more topic before I get out here. Anybody got any ideas what we should hit? There's always a little bit of delay. So now I'm going to sit here and stall for a second. Sun Tzu's girl lost by TKO knee injury. Oh, it's got to be Invicta. I don't have that on. Ooh, he was heading to White Castle. He's going to need a couple extra burgers to get through that one. NASCAR. You know what? I should talk about NASCAR. The NASCAR season just about wrapping up. That is a sport that if you understand the scoring. That's where I'm going to go with this. See, just a general rant leads me to this. Understanding the scoring in DraftKings is something that I think still goes overlooked. Yeah, it's great to know everything about NFL, or it's great to know everything about MMA or soccer, but you need to know how the scoring systems work in all these sports. And yeah, you kind of know, but get into the intricacies of it. What's the biggest edge in soccer for cash games? Those crosses, if you can find them. In MMA, looking for grappling, for example. Those you guys who will know about grappling. MMA scoring knows we look for grapplers. NASCAR. In FanDuel, it's place differential, um, domination laps, and every race is a little different. But knowing the scoring system, same thing with pass catching running backs in football. It's little stuff like that I think people know about, but focusing on it can give you a real advantage. So just kind of some friendly advice there. One of the things I really like and is to understand where the little niches are in the scoring system, and if you know them, exploit them. I don't think people exploit them enough. Um, go back to chat real quick. Sean, I live close enough to BIR to hear all the races Thursday to Saturday. Yeah, it's going to be a little rough for you. Went to my first NASCAR race last year for the World Championship in Charlotte. Liked it. Would go again. DraftKings spoiled us spoiled my future experiences being in a suite, but it was nice, a lot of fun. I joined the Xfinity race too. So NASCAR is something as I've gotten older, and because of DFS, I've gotten into. Um, so it's one of those things I enjoy now that I never thought 10 years ago I did not think I was going to enjoy that. All right, guys, I'm going to head out of here. I think I hear my wife wrapping up. So, again, thanks for watching, listening. Podcast is back. Going to do more of these, again, away from slate breakdowns. Follow me on Twitter at the DF Sniper and send me messages. Let me know what you thought of this episode. Comment in the box below what you want me to touch on in the future, any ideas for episodes. Look, I just want to chat with you guys. Love these type of things. So if you're playing any contest this week, have a good weekend. Good luck in your contests. Thanks again. See you next time.